Hey there YouTube, this is Troy Shipman and today I'm bringing you Impressionism 101. Impressionism, a style or movement in painting originating in France in the 1860s, characterized by a concern with depicting the visual impression of the moment, especially in terms of the shifting effect of light and colour. The Impressionists were a group of artists who hung out together in a cafe and had the same ambition of capturing the moment, or the essence of a moment, in one go. This was largely influenced as well by the development of things like photography and also the Industrial Revolution. So all of a sudden you had paints that were portable, cheap, came in a tube, and you had easels that you could easily carry with you. Why wouldn't you start to go places and draw instantly? One of the key artists in this group was Claude Monet, who was the unofficial leader of the group. He was an older gentleman who came from traditional training, but then applied that practice to realism. And through his influence on the school of Impressionism, he helped to develop the sort of thinking around what these people were painting. And in turn, people like Camille Pissarro and Caillebotte and all these other great artists influenced him in the way he painted, and he began to paint more like the Impressionist style. The second key artist in the Impressionist movement is Claude Monet, who was a rather interesting gentleman and had a fascination with light. Monet's reputation is basically that he would go out to a site, set up his easel, canvas, paints in hand, and he would paint the scene in a matter of hours. In his old age, Monet actually developed cataracts, so his view of the world was actually slightly distorted. But he kept painting, so his paintings actually took on a very varied colour palette to what the actual light was. And what he's most known for are his water lilies. In some cases, there are actually paintings where he was in the middle of them, he hadn't finished them. He had the cataract surgery, but he repainted over them. However, my favourite paintings by Monet are actually his series on the ruined cathedral. The way he captures the light bouncing off its stone facades is just immaculate and amazing. For someone who often painted with oil straight out of the tube, he captures the form incredibly beautifully. The third key artist in this series is Pierre Auguste Renoir. He's famous for a few things, namely his short fuzzy brush strokes. So if you look at his paintings, they all tend to be a little bit blurry. One of the benefits of this was that he could use these brush strokes to put two completely separate colours side by side, and the relationship between the two when looked at from further away would create a meld between them. Another thing that Renoir was really famous for was his use of colour in order to model tone. Renoir tended to model this by using things like blues and reds and greens to mask shadow or cold colours, and it was the relationship between cold and warm colours that creates the form. As I mentioned earlier, the birth of photography influenced this movement because all of a sudden you had a photograph which could take the exact likeness of something without the need to spend hours painting it. So what was the use of painting anymore? If you could capture life with something that took much less time, what good was painting? And so they started to look at painting as a means of exploring life rather than capturing it. So we had a huge breakthrough in science, a huge breakthrough in social development, a huge breakthrough in industrial manufacturing, a breakthrough in technology, and all these things kind of culminated together in this group of artists who decided that they were going to meet at a cafe, discuss art, and that they would capture as much of a moment as they possibly could. Some of the influences from this movement are things such as the contemporary art scene, where you have lots of little galleries exhibiting local artists and showing local talent, and potentially actually selling work locally. There was also the breakthrough of actually painting life as we saw it. The other really obvious influence that Impressionism had was on post-Impressionism, because it was a direct response to what they'd learned from Impressionism. Anyway guys, that was Impressionism 101. Hope you enjoyed it. If there's any particular questions that you guys have, or any artists or movements that you want me to cover, please feel free to leave them in a comment below, or on Facebook, or on Ask.fm, or Twitter, anywhere basically. If you like this video, please leave a thumbs up below, or if you want to see more like it, please check out last week's video here, or subscribe up here. Anyway guys, that was the video for this week. I'll catch you guys around. Hope you have a good week. Bye!